Since taking office just over a year ago, President Obama has made the education of our young people a key priority, even amid all the urgent priorities that he has. He and Secretary Duncan know and fully understand the challenges that we face. They know that this must be our goal. This is our goal here at America's Promise. This is what we are dedicated to. And we want everyone to understand and accept the role that all of us must play in this crucial issue. And I am happy that our President embraces this need and is committed to making a difference. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning I have the great honor to introduce to you the President of the United States.
Thanks for the great work. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Everybody, please have a seat. Let me begin by acknowledging some of the extraordinary people who are working on this extraordinary project. First of all, I want everybody to know, in case you haven't already met him, somebody who is working tirelessly on behalf of the young people of America, my Secretary of Education, Arne Duncan. I want to acknowledge Marguerite Kondraki, the CEO of America's Promise, who's going to be implementing so much of the terrific work that's been discussed today. Marguerite, there she is down there. I want to thank Tom Donahue for your hospitality in this extraordinary venue. Thank you very much, and thanks for the Chamber's support for this terrific effort. I want to acknowledge Margaret Spellings, Arnie's predecessor, who helped to lead a lot of the improvement that's been taking place and we're building on. So, and obviously, I want to thank the Powells. And I will start with the more important Powell, Alma. I want to say a word about the remarkable woman who introduced me, a champion of children, a dedicated public servant, and the recipient of numerous awards. And Alma has poured herself into America's Promise Alliance, helping make it the largest partnership of its kind to improve education and help children in this country. And perhaps that's not surprising, because being an educator seems to run in the family, as I understand, even though one of her mother's parents was born into slavery and the other just after abolition. Both went to college, became teachers. 4 of their children followed them into the education profession. So her family has educated and enriched generations of Americans, and our nation is better off for it. And so we are very grateful to you for your extraordinary leadership. Thank you. There's not much more we can say about the man that Alma succeeds as chair of the Alliance, that most people don't already know anyway. I will say that I'm grateful for his friendship, for his counsel, and like so many Americans, I continue to be inspired by his leadership and by his life story. It's a story of a son of Jamaican garment workers, a student from the South Bronx. Like me, wasn't always at his best in high school, but who went on to City College of New York, and thanks to the support of his family and his friends and his community. It's a story of a ROTC cadet who went on to distinguish himself first in Vietnam, then in the Pentagon, in the White House, and in the State Department, and who, after spending a lifetime fighting on behalf of America, has now taken up the fight for America's children. So the leadership of Colin and Alma that they are showing by spearheading the Grad Nation campaign to end America's dropout crisis is just the latest chapter in their service to this nation. And so I want to publicly commend them and thank them for their extraordinary service. Thank you very much. One last person I want to make mention of, because I think it bears on the extraordinary public-private partnership that's taking place here. We have the CEO of the Corporation for National and Community Service, Patrick Corvington, who's here. Where's Patrick? There he is back there. And so we are hoping to make sure we get a whole bunch of volunteers engaged in this effort. Now, it's fitting that we're talking about education here at the Chamber of Commerce. After all, for America to compete and to win in the 21st century, we know that we will need a highly educated workforce that is second to none. And we know that the success of every American will be tied more closely than ever before to the level of education that they achieve. The jobs will go to the people with the knowledge and the skills to do them. It's that simple. In this kind of knowledge economy, giving up on your education and dropping out of school means not only giving up on your future, but it's also giving up on your family's future and giving up on your country's future. And yet, that's what too many of America's children are doing today. Over 1 million students don't finish high school each year. Nearly 1 in 3. Over half are African American and Latino. The graduation gap in some places between white students and classmates of color is 40 or 50%. And in cities like Detroit and Indianapolis and Baltimore, graduation rates hover around 30, 40%, roughly half the national average. Now, it's true that not long ago, you could drop out of high school and reasonably expect to find a blue-collar job that would pay the bills and help support your family. That's just not the case anymore. In recent years, the high school dropout has made on average about $10,000 less per year than a high school graduate. In fact, during this recession, a high school dropout has been more than 3 times as likely to be out of work as someone with at least a college degree. Graduating from high school is an economic imperative. That might be the best reason to get a diploma, but it's not the only reason to get a high school diploma. As Alma mentioned, high school dropouts are more likely to be teen parents, more likely to commit crime, more likely to rely on public assistance, more likely to lead shattered lives. What's more, they cost our economy hundreds of billions of dollars over the course of a lifetime in lower wages and higher public expenses. So this is a problem we cannot afford to accept and we cannot afford to ignore. The stakes are too high for our children, for our economy, and for our country. It's time for all of us to come together, parents, students, principals, and teachers, business leaders and elected officials from across the political spectrum to end America's dropout crisis. And this is a problem that I've actually been fighting for years. Way back when I was a community organizer in Chicago, I saw what happened to a family or to a school or to a community when a student dropped out. So I helped work with local churches in the region and public school officials to get state funding for dropout prevention programs, and brought together African American and Latino leaders to help set up after-school programs. Because when we help keep kids off the street, when we give them a productive way to spend their time, then graduation rates go up. So that's a commitment that I've carried with me to the Oval Office. And today I want to announce steps my administration will take to help end the dropout crisis in the African American community, in the Latino community, and in the larger American community. Because we know that about 12% of America's schools produce 50% of America's dropouts, we're going to focus on helping states and school districts turn around their 5,000 lowest performing schools in the next 5 years. And Arnie will be amplifying and providing details on how we can do this. We'll not only challenge states to identify high schools with graduation rates below 60%, we're going to invest another $900 million in strategies to get those graduation rates up. Strategies like transforming schools from top to bottom by bringing in a new